Thank you, everybody. All right, beautiful. Let me go ahead and start us off in just a moment. I'm just getting my tools ready up here. And then we can go ahead and jump in. Here we go. Hi, Anne Marie. Sorry. All right. Perfect. All right. So taking a look here, class sessions are recorded and distributed for learning purposes that are listed here. As always, be respectful, appropriate, and participate often and well. Please do not share any contact or social media info during classes for your own security reasons. All right. Let's go ahead and work up on the board. Let's go ahead and match these up for me and then tell me what are your plans for the weekend. So up here we have alkenes, we have esters, we have alkanes, alcohols, and alkynes. Remember that alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. Take a look at that center letter, and that center letter should help you figure out what it's doing. Alcohols, take a look at its center letter, and then esters, what's left over. Go ahead and get those up on the board. Taking a look at the functional groups that we learned about yesterday. All right, I see Annette on the board, Christine working, Anne Marie, Ayla working. I see Natalie up on the board. Thank you. Awesome. Hi, Kayla. Welcome to class. How are you doing? Let me know in the chat box. Go ahead and respond in the chat box and let me know how you're doing. Let's get some more participation up there as well. Ryan and Kyrie, want to see your responses up there. Awesome, Kayla. Glad to hear you're doing well. Looking good, everyone. Thank you, Ryan. I see you up there. Annette, I see you working. Perfect. Great job, everybody. All right, let me go ahead and pause our tools here and take a look here. Actually, no, I'll keep the tools on. Go ahead and tell me down here, what are your plans for the weekend? I see Annette's got an answer down there for me. I'll go ahead and correct these or check these up on the board, though. Do, 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 do. So again, let me know at the bottom, what are your plans for the weekend? All right, so alkenes, yes, E is the second option in our alphabet of the three. So alkenes will have the double bonds. Esters have a fruit-like smell. We talked about how I synthesized banana ester in college, which smelled like banana Laffy Taffies. Alkanes, A comes first in the alphabet of the three, alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. Those ones have single bonds. Alcohols have an OH in them, which helps to remind you that they contain hydroxide ions or OH negatives. And alkynes, the Y comes last in the alphabet, and so that's our last option of these ones have triple bonds between their carbons. Great job on that, everybody. Let's take a look at what we've got up here. Watching scary movies and eating candy. That sounds wonderful. Kayla getting to sleep a little bit. That's awesome. Ryan, not sure yet. And Natalie staying home. Yeah, if you go out over the weekend, make sure you stay safe, right? Make sure that you're distancing from people and that you're wearing a mask and staying safe and all that stuff. All right, we want to make sure that you are good to go back on Monday. All right, let's go ahead and get started up here. We already talked about the recording. There are only 9 school days left of the quarter of the trimester, and then the trimester is over. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a review game, so that should be lots of fun. Today's review game will be extra credit, so if you do participate the entire time, there will be a report at the end that tells me if you participated the entire time, and if you participate the entire time, you will get extra credit for today. And that will be in lieu of us doing attendance. We'll just do the extra credit stuff for today. So if you're here live, then you get that extra credit. If you're just watching the recording, then obviously you can't play with us. And so you'll need to go ahead and do a later extra credit activity. Hi, Ken. Hi, Jalen. How are you doing? Go ahead and respond to me in the chat box so I know you're here with us. How are we doing, Ken and Jalen? Welcome to class. So we've been talking about organic chemistry, we've been talking about the macromolecules, proteins, carbs, lipids, and nucleic acids, and we've also been taking a look at those functional groups, which we just reviewed at the start of our class. So at this point, we should be pretty confident with identifying properties of acids and bases and macromolecules. But if we're not, we're going to go ahead and work on them together today. We, again, are going to do a Kahoot game together, and that Kahoot game will be your extra credit and your attendance for today. So make sure you're participating in it. If you aren't participating, then you won't get any extra credit attendance today because you won't have shown me that you were working with us today. Okay, so again, to get extra credit, you do need to participate the entire time in the Kahoot, and that extra credit is going to go into your attendance. So again, you do need to participate the entire time. You won't get attendance, you won't get your extra credit today if you're not participating. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go to the website kahoot.it. That is the actual website. I know that looks kind of funny, but it's just kahoot.it. That's the website right there. And you'll notice that it's going to ask for a game pin, which I will give you in just a moment. So you can go to kahoot.it either on your phone browser. You can also go onto it on a computer browser, or you can also download the app. So if you want to, you can download the app. It sometimes works a little bit better on the app. When I give you the game pin in just a moment, you're going to go ahead and enter the game pin. And then it'll ask you for your name. Make sure you include your first name and your last initial of your last name. All right, so first name and initial of your last name. That way I know it's actually you and not somebody else. Please don't put your full last name just for security reasons. All right, so in the chat box, please go ahead and give me a star if you understand that. First name and the initial of your last name. So for example, my name is Brittany Larkin, so I would put Brittany L. Brittany L. Okay. And then what you will do is you will see that there's a pattern up on the screen that you need to match these buttons. The reason for that is just to make sure that nobody can bomb our session, right? Because sometimes people will give the pin to to random people and then they can bomb the session. So by matching the pattern changes every 7 seconds, and so this way you can't bomb our session. Remember to just do your best. You do need to try to answer every single question in order to get extra credit for today. If you don't answer every single question, or if you miss a lot of questions, then you won't get your extra credit for today. So you just need to answer as many as you possibly can. Do your best. Even if you don't know the answer, just guess. All right, doesn't hurt you to guess. You can also play in the private chat. So if for some reason you're having a hard time opening up Kahoot or it's working slowly for you, let me know and I can open a private chat for you. So if you would prefer to play in the private chat, again, let me know and I can go ahead and open one for you. But again, you do need to answer every question in the private chat to get your credit for today, your extra credit for today. All right, do we have any questions? Green checks if we're ready to move on. Red X's if we're confused. Green checks if we're ready to move on. Red X's if we are confused. All right, still waiting on a few more green checks. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make my check-in room since it looks like we're a little bit slow to get our green checks, so I'll be back in just a moment. All right, so I'm still waiting on green checks, please, from Jose, Kyrie, and Ryan. Jose, Kyrie, Ryan, let me know if you understand these instructions so that we can get started with our extra credit game today. Again, the only way you can get extra credit is if you participate in our game. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this screen up on the board. Again, you need to go to kahoot.it. That's okay, Ryan. You just need to participate in order to get extra credit for today. So just do your best. All right. All right, looking good. All right, sorry. Let me go ahead and change this. All right. All right, sorry, I'm just trying to get this so that everyone can see it. All right, can everyone see the screen now? I'm gonna go ahead and click play. Perfect, all right. And that looks good. All right, let's go ahead and play Classic. All right, so the game pin is loading. Give it a moment to work. All right, so this is our game pin. Put that in the chat box for you. All right. And write your name then, again, first name and last initial. Ryan, if you want, you can just play in the private chat since you already have a private chat open. So that way you don't actually have to open up the game. All right, and then enter this pattern. So red, yellow, blue, green. It will change in 5 seconds. Blue, red, yellow, green. Thank you, I see Anne Marie. Blue, yellow, red, green. Again, match that pattern. Thank you, I see Ayla, I see Kyrie. Blue, yellow, green, red. Thank you, I see Christine. Annette, red, blue, green, yellow. Yellow, green, blue, red. Let's get more people in there. Amy, still waiting on you. Awesome. I see Natalie up there. Still waiting on Jalen and Jennifer and Jose. Waiting on Kayla. Awesome. Hi, Nathan. Please go ahead and join our game right here. You're going to go to kahoot.it either on a computer or on a phone browser or in the app. Here's the game pin. Go ahead and enter your name. Yeah, the pattern does change. Okay, so that's to make sure that we don't get Kahoot bombers. All right, so enter your name and then match the pattern. It changes every 7 seconds. So I'll read it out to you in the next one. Blue, red, yellow, green. Blue, red, yellow, green. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start opening up some private chats for people I haven't heard from. Again, if you want extra credit today, you need to be either answering up on the board or in the private chat. Awesome, I see Jalen, thank you. I'm going to open one for Jose. Private chat, okay. And then Kayla. Oh no, Kayla, sorry, you're good. You're already up there. Here you go, Nathan. Perfect, all right. Looking good. All right, let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Instructions will still be at the bottom if you need them. What ions are released when acids are dissolved in water? Red, H+, blue, Na+, yellow, Cl-, or green, OH-. All right, looking good. Make sure we get everybody up there. Thank you. I see Ryan's answer. Again, if you are not participating, I'm going to go ahead and move you to the check-in room. So I've got an answer from Ryan. Great job. Yep. I have not yet heard from Nathan. Okay, thank you for letting me know, Jennifer. All right, Nathan. All right, the instructions are still at the bottom. Again, you won't get extra credit unless you're up on the board or in the private chat. All right, yes, awesome. Okay, yeah, Jose just guessed. You just need to guess so that I know you're participating. Okay, all right, yes, so the ions that are released are actually going to be H+ ions. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. We've got nobody on the scoreboard yet, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. This was a while ago, so I understand it might be hard to remember. So acids are compounds that contain hydrogen, and when they get dissolved, they will donate positive hydrogen cations. Let me know if this makes sense. Red, not yet, blue, sort of, and yellow, yep. Let me know if that makes sense. Thank you, Ryan. Awesome. All right, so let me go ahead and show that to you again. So acids contain hydrogen and they release H+. Example is hydrochloric acid, hydrofluoric acid. They all have hydrogen in them and they all release that hydrogen. Bases, on the other hand, release hydroxide, like sodium hydroxide releases hydroxide into water. Great job. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Ryan. I see you in the private chat. Thank you for participating. All right, let's go ahead and try our next one. Strong acids or bases. Red dissociate completely in water, or blue do not dissociate completely in water. Red dissociate completely, blue do not dissociate completely. All right, looks like we're 50-50. If you chose that they dissociate completely in water, that is correct. They dissociate completely. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Awesome. I see Ayla, Jalen, Jennifer, and Annette up on the board. So taking a look right here, does this make sense? So we talked about how strong acids dissociate completely into their ions, and so do strong bases. Weak acids and weak bases still have some of their original acid or base left over. Red, sort of, blue, yep, or yellow, not yet. Perfect. Awesome. Looks like we're feeling comfortable with that. All right, let's move on. In a neutralization reaction, an acid and a base react to make red acid, blue base, yellow salt, or green water. There are actually 2 correct answers, so you have 2 possible ways to get this correct. In a neutralization reaction, acids and base react to make what? Red acid, blue base, yellow salt, or green water. Think about the word neutralization, neutral, neutralization. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, all right, so it's actually water. No worries, Christine. So water is neutral, and salt is actually also created. Acid and base wouldn't make as much sense because an acid and base reacting to make an acid doesn't make sense because there was already an acid. Same thing with a base. It reacting to make a base doesn't make sense because it's still just a base, right? All right, so salt here again is going to also be created. So both of these would have been correct. Either of those work. All right, awesome. I see Ayla, Jalen, JB, Annette, and Natalie up on the board. Let's make sure that this makes sense. All right, acids neutralize bases in a neutralization reaction. Acid and base make salt and water. Red, sort of. Blue, not yet. Yellow, yep. Let me know if that makes sense. Jose, make sure I'm still getting your responses in the private chat. I see Ryan's. Perfect. All right, remember you need to make sure that you're answering almost all the questions in order to get your extra credit for today. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Which of the following is not a characteristic of acids? Red tastes sour, blue corrode active metals, yellow turn litmus paper red, or green are found in bleach and soap. Make sure you wait to answer. When I look at the results, I can see how long it took you to answer. So make sure you wait to read them to answer. 10 seconds remaining. Ryan, Jose, make sure I get your private chat answers. Jose, I haven't heard from you in a while. Jose, make sure I get your private chat. All right, so this is actually that they are found in bleach and soap. This one right here is not a characteristic of acids. So acids do taste sour. Think about lemon or think about, let's see here, oranges. Those are sour. Those are acidic. Lemon juice and oranges and vinegar are all acids that taste sour. They will corrode active metals. That's one of the things we talked about. They'll break down metals. And they turn litmus paper red. Remember, litmus paper turns blue for base, B for base, blue base, red for acids. Now, bleach and soap, remember we talked about how most cleaning products are actually bases. Most cleaning products are actually bases. All right. Awesome. Natalie is in first place here. Let's take a look up here. Does this make sense? Again, we talked about acids taste sour. They're found in vinegar, orange juice, and lemons. They neutralize bases. They turn litmus paper red, increase hydrogen, and corrode metals. Red, yep. Blue, not yet. Yellow, sort of. Great job, Ryan. Jose, make sure I get your does this make sense? All right, looking good. All right, so again, these are all the properties of acids. Everything else is a property of a base. So bases will neutralize the opposite, acids. Bases tend to taste bitter, like how soap tastes bitter. Bleach, shampoo, soap, and toothpaste, all cleaning products, are basic. Bases turn litmus paper blue, B for base, B for blue. They'll feel slippery, again, a lot like soap. Soap is basic. And they increase hydroxide ions, the other particle that we talk about when we talk about acids and bases. So if you're someone who said that doesn't yet make sense, let me know if you have additional questions, but let's go ahead and move on for now. Acids have a high pH more than 7, low pH less than 7, or middle pH equal to 7. What kind of pH do acids have? Think about what colors are usually associated with acids, reds or blues. Which colors are usually associated with acids? Think about our litmus paper we just talked about. Litmus paper turns which color for acids? Awesome, Amy. Yeah, they actually have a low pH. They have a low pH. All right, if you take a look right here, we talked about how litmus paper turns red for acids, and the pH scale is based off of that as well. So reds and oranges and yellows are all acidic on the pH scale, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is neutral, and then above 7 is basic, where the higher the number gets, up to 14, the more basic. So 8 is slightly basic, 14 is extremely basic, like bleach. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. Awesome, got Natalie up there. All right, low pH means lots of hydrogen, and acid lowers pH, like battery acid, stomach acid, vinegar. High pH means low hydrogen, and therefore a base, like bleach and lye have pHs of 13 and 14. Red, yep, blue, sort of, yellow, not yet. Let me know if that makes sense. Alex, go ahead and play the game in this private chat. Since you're a little bit late, so you won't be, you could try to join down here, but I would recommend just playing the private chat for now. So if I get answers in the private chat from you for all of the remaining questions, you can get extra credit for today. If I don't hear from you in the private chat, you won't get extra credit for today. Looking good. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and keep on moving here. A solution that resists changes in pH is called red an indicator, blue a buffer, or yellow a titration. All right, this is actually a word that you might use in everyday life, like if you are a person that helps two friends to get along. All right, helps two different people to get along, just like this solution allows two different compounds to kind of get along. Awesome. I see Ryan. I see Jose in the private chats. 4 seconds left. Do your best. I see Amy typing in the private chat. Awesome. This one is actually called a buffer. All right, an indicator is something that changes colors when something becomes too acidic or too basic. And titrations use indicators in order to figure out when something is at a certain point. But a buffer is specifically a solution that when you add more acid or add more base, it stays pretty close to the same pH. The buffer can cancel out both acids and bases to keep the pH the same. All right, awesome. I see Ayla got some points there. Let's make sure that this makes sense. Red, yep. Blue, sort of. Yellow, not yet. Again, buffers are compounds that resist pH changes when an acid or base is added. They're made up of a mixture of weak acid and the opposite weak base, which allows it to cancel out either acids or bases. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Amy. Looking good. All right. Looks like it's sort of making sense. All right. If you don't remember this, this was from a recording. So make sure you go back and watch the recording because it goes through every scenario of how a buffer works. And that's going to be important for you to know for your final exam in a week. All right. Looking good, everybody. Let's go ahead and take a look at this next one. Organic compounds are structured around red nitrogen, blue carbon, yellow oxygen, green hydrogen. This is our most recent unit. We should be much more confident about this. Organic compounds are structured around which element? Red nitrogen, blue carbon, yellow oxygen, green hydrogen. Awesome, Jose. Awesome, Ryan. Thank you, Amy. I see yours. Yes, there are a few more, Ryan. Awesome. Yes, they are structured around carbon. Looks like a lot of us got that. That should be more familiar with us, so I understand why we did better on that one. So yes, they are structured around carbon. Great job. I see Annette, Anne-Marie, Christine, Ayla, and Natalie still up on the board. Let's take a look here. Does this make sense? So we talked about how organic means carbon-based. All living things or things that have ever lived are structured around carbon. Red, sort of. Blue, yep. Yellow, not yet. Organic means carbon-based, structured around carbon. Beautiful. All right, I want to remind you that the reason carbon is used in living organisms is because of its versatility. It can create millions of different arrangements because A, it's really small and can fit in a lot of places, and B, it has 4 valence electrons, which means it can make 4 different bonds, which is more bonds than almost any other atom. So not only can it make a lot of bonds, but it's also really, really tiny, allowing it to fit in compounds and molecules in really interesting ways. And that's why it's so versatile. So that's why it makes sense that living things use carbon as their base element. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. Which of the following is not an organic compound? Red hydrocarbons, blue fossil fuels, yellow plastic, or green aluminum. Again, we talked about organic means living or has lived or based on living compounds. All right, so which of these has never lived or is not based on anything that's living? All right, looks like a lot of us said plastic, but remember plastic is actually made from fossil fuels, which fossil fuels are dead organic material. So hydrocarbons include things like methane. Fossil fuels include things like natural gas and petroleum, again, all of which are made from dead animals and plants. And plastic is made from fossil fuels. So plastic is actually synthetically made from an organic compound. Aluminum, on the other hand, is a metal. There is no carbon in aluminum. Aluminum is an entirely different compound on the periodic table, and so aluminum is not organic. It's kind of a tricky one, so don't stress if that one tricked you. It was meant to be a tricky one. All right, let's make sure that this makes sense. Inorganic compounds do not have carbon. Fossil fuels are organic compounds. They include hydrocarbons, which are carbon and hydrogen. And plastics are still considered organic because they're made from fossil fuels. Red, not yet. Blue, yep. Yellow, sort of. Jose, make sure I'm getting your answers. I haven't gotten an answer from you in a while. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Awesome. All right, let's move on, everyone. If an OH functional group is added to an organic compound, it is called an red alkene, blue ester, or yellow alcohol. All right, we talked about OHs. Remember, there was a trick to remember which of these have an OH group. Red alkene, blue ester, or yellow alcohol. We reviewed this at the start of class. Oh my gosh, we got everyone to answer. Awesome. Yes, this is an alcohol. Remember, alcohol literally has the letters OH in it, so it does have an OH negative functional group. Great job, Ryan. Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Awesome. All right, looking good. Okay, Jose, make sure you're really thinking about your answers. I see a lot of blues, which might just be a coincidence, but make sure you're really thinking through those answers. Awesome. All right, Ayla in first place. I still see Natalie, Annette, Anne-Marie, and Christine up on the board. Which of the following functional groups results in a fruity smelling organic compound? Again, review from the start of class. Red alkene, blue ester, or yellow alcohol? Which of these smell fruity? Awesome, I see Amy, Jose, and Ryan. Make sure I get your private chat answers. Thank you, Ryan. Jose, make sure I still get your answer, please. Thank you. Yeah, this one is going to be an ester. Perfect. So esters are going to be fruity smelling. We talked about how, esters are found in different fruits. They can also be linked together synthetically to make polyester. Polyester is a type of fabric. All right, let's go ahead and see how we're doing. Looking good. Leaderboard's still pretty much the same. Does this make sense? Let's take a look here. All right, so alkenes, remember, have a double bond. Alcohols have an OH in them. And esters have low boiling points, are perfume and fruity, like are found in fruits, and can be turned into polyester fabric. Red, yep. Blue, not yet. Yellow, sort of. Okay, so these are the three different ones that we learned. Jose, this is not yet making sense? So alkenes have double bonds, alkanes have single, alkynes have triple. Alcohols literally have an OH in them, which means they have a hydroxide ion on them. And esters, we talked about how esters are found in fruits yesterday. Does that make more sense, Jose? I know the diagram was a little bit small. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Which biological macromolecule is responsible for long-term energy storage? Is that red proteins, blue lipids, yellow carbohydrates, or green nucleic acids? Think about long-term energy. Long-term energy, the energy that is hard for your body to get rid of, that people struggle with getting rid of. 10 seconds. Thank you, Ryan. All right. So yes, you might think carbohydrates, but carbohydrates are actually short-term energy. Lipids are actually your long-term energy. Remember that another word for lipids is what? Go ahead, everyone, tell me in the room chat. Lipids is another word for what? No, Ryan, you were really close. It's very easy to get them confused. So don't worry. What's another word for lipids? Awesome. Annette, Amy. Yeah, fats. So another word for lipids is fats. So again, if you think about long-term energy, you think about in the diet industry, people are always trying to get rid of fat because fat is stored much longer than things like carbohydrates. Yeah, none of these things are inherently bad, right? Your body does need proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids in order to function, but obviously too much of something could be bad for you. Too many carbohydrates eventually do get turned into lipids, and then it's really hard to get rid of those lipids, right? Really hard to get rid of fat. All right, let's see how we're doing. Awesome. Switching some places. Okay, no worries, Ryan. All right, let's go ahead and make sure this makes sense. All right, so red, yep, blue, sort of, yellow, not yet. Again, lipids are fats, oils, and waxes are long-term energy. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at these other ones in just a moment. Thank you, Amy. Jose, make sure I get yours. Perfect. All right, so let's take a look at this. Again, lipids, long-term energy, you do need some lipids. You need fat for insulation as well as to protect your organs. It also makes up your cells, the outside of your cells. So without lipids or fats, your cells would not be able to function, which would be really bad. They also are chemical messengers in your body. They're the hormones and steroids that are found naturally in your body. So if you have too little fat, eventually these hormones and steroids stop working and that can kill you. So you do need some fat. Same thing with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the main source of energy and short-term energy for your body. So if you don't have carbohydrates, you often feel very tired and fatigued and foggy because your body is trying to operate off of lipids, and lipids are a lot harder for the body to work with. They also build cell walls in plants. Remember, that's called fiber, which allows us to go number 2 better. They're used for signaling between cells, another reason we need carbohydrates. They're found in sugary and starchy food. Obviously, the more complex carbs are going to be the carbs that are probably better for you, but eating the occasional sugary carbohydrate isn't going to hurt you unless you have like diabetes issues. Then maybe be a little bit more careful. Proteins have many roles. They help build your muscles. They're found in your hair and your nails. They transport oxygen in your blood. They help to digest your food, and they help to defend you against disease. So many, many roles. Nucleic acids are your hereditary material, right? Your DNA, and this is what gets passed from your parents to you, and it's why you look a lot like your parents. All right, it's found in humans, animals, plants, fungi, bacteria. It's found in all living complex organisms. And again, it's the blueprint or the instructions, and it's connected to proteins. Nucleic acids are the instructions, proteins are the result. It's like nucleic acids are the IKEA instructions and proteins is the actual dresser that you make. All right, looking good. Let's see here. Meat, eggs, milk, nuts, and beans are an example of which biological macromolecule? Red lipids, blue proteins, yellow nucleic acids, or green carbohydrates? Milk, eggs, meat, nuts, and beans. Think about people are often like, oh, I got to eat more of these to build more muscle. Muscle is related to which group? Awesome. I see Amy. I see Jose. Let's make sure I get Ryan's answer. Oh, Ryan's in the bed. There we go. Ryan, let me know what's going on. All right. Yes, these are proteins. Yes. So if someone wants to build muscle and become a muscle builder, their diet is going to include more meat, eggs, milk, nuts, and beans because that will help them to build better muscle. And muscle is a protein. Muscle is made from the proteins actin and myosin. So the more proteins you eat, the better you are able to then build actin and myosin in your own muscles. All right, great job, everybody. Leaderboard still looks pretty much the same. Looks like we're doing pretty good there. Does this make sense? All right, red, yep. Blue, not yet. Yellow, sort of. So again, carbohydrates are sugars and starches. Lipids are fats, oils, waxes, and our hormones. Proteins, meat, eggs, milk, nuts, and beans. And nucleic acids are our DNA, RNA, and ATP. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and keep on going here. Monosaccharides are the monomer for which biological macromolecule? Remember, mono means one, and saccharide sounds sweet. All right, so is that red proteins, blue carbohydrates, yellow nucleic acids, or green lipids? Awesome. There we go. I see some answers. Yeah, this is actually carbohydrates. Again, mono meaning one, saccharide means sweet or sugary, and we know that carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, are sugars. For example, glucose, sugar, which is what your body uses to make energy, or you can think of lactose sugar, which is a disaccharide, two sugars. Lactose sugar is found in milk, or you can think of what's another? Fructose. Fructose sugar is found in fruit. All of those things are monosaccharides or disaccharides, simple sugars, again, which are types of carbohydrates. Fast energy. Sugar gives you fast energy. Great job. All right, Christine, moving up. Great job. Does this make sense? All right, we'll take a closer look at this in a moment. Red, yep. Blue, not yet. Yellow, sort of. Again, monosaccharide is the monomer, a single sugar. Disaccharide is two linked monosaccharides, and a polysaccharide is many. All right, awesome, Amy. All right, so monosaccharide is the monomer, again, single sugar. If you have di, that means two of those, and poly means many of those. And so carbohydrates are polysaccharides, have polysaccharides like starch, glycogen, and cellulose. Monosaccharides are like glucose, fructose, and galactose. Disaccharides like maltose, sucrose, and lactose. Now lipids again, their structure is that they have a glycerol head and fatty acid tails. We know that lipids are fat, so it makes sense that they're made of fatty acid tails. They're hydrophobic, they hate water. That's why oil does not mix with water, or that's why butter does not mix with water. Proteins are made up of amino acids. When you have many amino acids, that makes a polypeptide chain. And when that gets folded together, that makes a protein. There are only 20 amino acids, but because they can be linked in different numbers and orders, right, you can have 5 of one type, 10 of another, 300 of another, and then mix them all together. There are actually 20,000 proteins currently known, and probably a lot more that exist in our world than we know. And nucleic acids, remember, are made up of nucleotides. They both start with the same 5 letters. Nucleotides themselves have a sugar, a phosphate group, and one of 5 nitrogenous bases. So they can have adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, or uracil. And so there's 5 different ways that you can have nucleotides. Again, just by mixing these up, you get the entire variation of all living creatures on Earth. So for example, you and I have 50% of the same DNA as a banana, but because our nucleotides are mixed differently than a banana's, then we end up being very different from bananas. So again, the other 50% of our DNA is really important, otherwise we would be a banana. All right, let's go ahead and we're almost done here. Last question, which of the following nucleic acids contains the genetic blueprint for your body? Is that red deoxyribonucleic acid, blue ribonucleic acid, or yellow adenosine triphosphate? Again, these all have abbreviations, so think about what's the abbreviation for deoxyribonucleic acid, what's the abbreviation for ribonucleic acid, and for adenosine triphosphate. 10 seconds. Thank you, Amy. Jose, make sure I get your answer, Jose. 4 seconds. All right, this is actually deoxyribonucleic acid. What is the abbreviation for deoxyribonucleic acid? Tell me in the room chat. What is the abbreviation for deoxyribonucleic acid? Awesome, I see Christine in the chat, in the room chat. What is our abbreviation? Let's get used to writing this out. We need to know this. Let's practice together. What is the abbreviation for deoxyribonucleic acid? Hello? Awesome, I see Annette typing. I see Ayla working. Good, yeah, exactly. It's DNA, right? The D coming from the deoxyribo, the N coming from nucleic, and the A coming from acid, DNA. Ribonucleic acid, its abbreviation is RNA, and adenosine triphosphate is ATP, ATP. All right, let's make sure that that makes sense. Awesome, looking good. Let's go ahead and make sure that that makes sense. All right, red sort of, blue yep, yellow not yet. Again, we learned about 3 nucleic acids, DNA, which is our blueprint, RNA is the workers in our cells, and ATP is an energy molecule that's formed from the digestion of food to fuel muscles. 4 seconds. Let me know if that makes sense. Ryan, Jose, make sure I know if that makes sense in the private chat. All right, so DNA is our blueprint, our main genetic material. All right, RNA are the workers in our cells that use that instruction to build proteins. All right, they're like you building the IKEA dresser. And adenosine triphosphate, again, is an energy molecule in your body. Ryan, does that make sense? Sorry, this is the last question, Ryan, so I just need to confirm since you were gone for a little bit. Does that make sense? All right, Ryan, make sure that you respond in the private chat. All right, looking good. Let's see how we did. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Anne-Marie in 3rd place. Let's see here. Ayla in 2nd place. And Christine in 1st place. Great job, everybody. We did really well. Go ahead and give yourself a star in the chat box. You all did really well. I saw those places flipping back and forth, so I know that there is definitely a lot of different going back and forth. All right, let me go ahead and stop this. I'm going to view our report, and I'll let you know if you get your extra credit for today. Let me see here. All right, so Christine, Ayla, Anne-Marie, Annette, Natalie, Michaela, Jalen, and Kyrie, you guys should get your extra credit for today. And then from the private chat, we should have Ryan and Jose and Amy will get their extra credit for today. So if you didn't hear your name for some reason, let me know if you think that's a mistake, but that's what my report shows. All right, thank you so much, everyone. So we talked about acids, bases, and macromolecules today. Go ahead and point for me up on the board. How do we feel after that review? Again, I know some of that acid-based stuff was really old, so that's why I wanted to make sure we reviewed it together. And then it looks like the organic stuff we felt a little bit more confident about. Awesome. So we will continue practicing this stuff next week before our final exam. So even if you're still over here, we will have plenty of opportunities to continue practicing next one. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.